Good afternoon. We are joined by head coach Tom Walter for Wake Forest and players Dalton Wentz and Javar Williams. Coach will begin with an opening statement, and then questions will be directed toward our student athletes first and then to our head coach. If you'd like to ask a question, please raise your hand. We will get a microphone to you, and we'll move on as properly needed. So, Coach, if you'd please start off with an opening statement.
Yeah, certainly a disappointing loss. I like the way our team battled. Only gave up a couple hard hit balls on the day, really, maybe 5 hits on the day, and we just can't issue that many free 90s. And we knew coming into it, if we issued some free 90s and let them have their way on the bases, it would be tough to win, and that's exactly what happened today. Obviously did a good job battling back. Costello's home run and Wentz's home run behind that, gave us a chance. And, we had it where we wanted it in the ninth inning. We had 2 outs and 2 strikes on a pinch hitter. And obviously threw the wild pitch for the game winner, and then couldn't really get anything going in the ninth inning. Give credit to their left-handed pitcher. Fell behind 3-0 and came back and got a big out. And just disappointing end. And we've got to come back and ready to go tomorrow. We do have the team and the pitching staff to battle through the losers bracket. So we'll be ready to go tomorrow.
Questions for Javar and Dalton?
Dalton, yesterday you talked about just taking things one pitch at a time in a game in which momentum just shifted back and forth. How difficult was that to do today?
Yeah, it's tough when you get into the speed of things and you're in a tight game and you're playing a really good team with the playoffs on the line. So I think tomorrow we're just going to try and do a better job at it, getting pitch to pitch offensively, defensively, from the pitching side of things. So it's tough when you let things speed up like that, but we're going to reset and go back to it tomorrow.
This is your third straight year that you've been part of a team that's lost to a Friday regional 2 and 3 seed. What do you think's been missing in that to start regional tournaments?
I think it's baseball's tough, and every team that we play in the regional is hot. There's no, you didn't get here because you're not a good team. I think we played pretty good teams. If you've looked at the past few years, VCU, they threw a lefty that was really, really good against us. And last year, we had some hiccups last year, but we just we keep staying together, and you guys mentioned how it feels, going back and forth in those games. We live for that, and we want to just keep playing, and close baseball games are fun baseball games. So we're going to come back and keep battling.
Any further questions for our student athletes?
Yeah, for either one of you, you knew that Kentucky would try to be very, very chaotic and try to get you out of your game. Now that you've actually seen them in person, how different was how they played from what you expected?
I think we talked a lot about when you give them free bases, like we said, that's where they capitalize. And we had a couple today, and they got a big hit in a 2-strike count that scored a couple runs and led to a big inning. So that's what they capitalize on, and they got one big hit today that helped them succeed. And I think it's very similar to what we thought we had to do, and we were just not quite there with one pitch away from it. So
We have time for one more for student athletes if there is one. All right, Dalton, Javar, thank you very much. All right, with that, you can direct your questions to Coach Walter.
Coach, Lavonis held UK to 2 hits, and I think only gave up 2 free passes, but only got through the 5th inning. What do you think about Kentucky's maybe either anything in Lavonis's end or Kentucky's ability to work the counts a little bit?
I thought it was a little bit of both. I thought Kentucky did a good job of fouling some pitches off, some tough pitches. But Lev certainly needs to do a better job putting hitters away. It's something we've been talking to him about. And the hard part is he just doesn't get a lot of contact. And so the pitch counts, typically run high. And, he's up around almost 100 pitches, 90-some pitches, there through 5. And, again, I was hoping to get 6 out of him. That was kind of the formula we were hoping for. But, again, give Kentucky credit for fouling some pitches off.
When
When Tarnich takes third there in the ninth, could you just kind of walk us through that? It looked like no one was on the bag. It just kind of what happened there from your all's end.
Yeah, again, we had 2 strikes and on a hitter with a good matchup. So it was one of those things where, you know, we weren't going to make a throw and throw a ball into left field there. You know, obviously we're not planning against a wild pitch. So I didn't have especially where Wentz was playing, I didn't have a problem with us letting him get to third base there with 2 strikes. That's a good matchup for Will Ray, and he makes a better pitch than that, 99 times out of 100.
Coach, similar to what I asked Jamar, 3 losses to 3 seeds in 3 years. What do your teams need to do better to win in the postseason, especially in games like this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had some situational at bats today we didn't cash in on. Runner, first and third with 1 out in the first inning, didn't cash in on that. Second and third with 1 out in the 4th inning, maybe didn't cash in. So certainly need to cash in on those situational at bats. And again, we lost in 3 different ways. Last year against Cincinnati, we didn't hit, and they did a good job against Blake Morningstar. The year before that, like Dalton said, we got beat 1-0 by a good guy from VCU, and today was a little different. We just we walked the house, and again we beat ourselves today. So I think last year Cincinnati beat us. I think the year before that a good left-handed pitcher beat us, and today we beat ourselves.
Coach, I was intrigued by your "be true to yourself" comments yesterday, and do you feel like that maybe your team stepped out of that, and how important is it to maintain that as you continue on?
Yeah, we certainly we're not going to get very far in this regional if we don't get back to playing our brand of baseball. But look, the last couple of weeks we've walked too many. The walk has been an issue for us, and we certainly went out there and did that again today. And it came back to hurt us. And a lot of times, in those counts, we're ahead in the count. And like Dalton said, the 0-2 pitch, we've got to make a better 0-2 pitch in that situation. It was a good matchup for us, and had it gotten a big strikeout, the hitter before, and just kind of left the pitch out over the plate 0-2. And again, give credit to Van Cleve who didn't miss it.
Any further questions for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.